Hey guys, welcome to another episode of All the Rumors Are True. On this fabulous Sunday, we're here with the very handsome Steven Moya. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
I opened the door and this fool had the audacity to tell me, what did you say?
Casual Sunday.
Do you see this outfit, Sean? Can we zoom in on the outfit?
It's just
he looks like no, casual Sunday, my ass. I go, no, Steven, what I'm wearing is casual. This is what you should wear on a Sunday. I mean, the fact I have a bra on is shocking because it is casual.
I love
Sunday.
that for you.
Yeah, nobody wants to see nipples on my knees, nipples on my knees. Nobody wants to see that today on casual Sunday.
No, I mean, I dressed up for you, you know.
Did you? Well,
yeah.
Okay, so before we get into you and like why I asked to have you on, I had to talk to you about like your fashion because it is a thing. Like the first time I met you, you were in a tux.
Oh, yeah.
I met you, I think it was the Katrina Ball was the first time I met you. You were with Bert, your bestie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And because he Ubered me home to make sure like I was okay. So, you know, female by herself late at night.
We're good guys like that.
No,
That's what we do.
Y'all are great men. I have said that ever since I met you. You are just genuinely one of the best humans I've ever met. And I mean that wholeheartedly. And I
appreciate that.
I mean it. You're just such a great guy. But I need to know the style thing. I mean, every time I've seen you after that, so obviously I met you in a tux. So yeah, of course that looked fabulous.
Stakes were high then.
Yeah, but you keep it, that bar's high and you stay up at that bar. Every time I see you, you're dressed just fabulous. Like, where did that come from?
My older siblings, believe it or not. I mean, my older siblings mainly because, you know, they were kids of the 80s, especially my sister. So they were always dressing up for everything. Had the latest fashions, shopping at all the cool stores, and you know, just being a part of that trickled down.
I know, no, but that's because I find fashion to be hard.
Yeah,
it
can be.
I find it to be hard. I find it to be very difficult when I'm trying to piece because I have a problem is I buy pieces. I don't buy outfits, and then I end up with a closet full of pieces, right? And I have a very hard time placing them together.
Yeah.
A friend of mine, Patrick, is a stylist, and I recently went to New York. I travel quite a bit for work, and I had some big meetings, and I had a bunch of pieces, right? And I'm like, I don't know what to do with these pieces, and so I called him, and I'm like, hey, like, what's your fee? Like, I don't need to go shopping. Yeah. I just need you to come and look at everything in my closet. So I actually pulled everything out into my living room and stuff he put together. It was like his mind just works in a way that mine doesn't. And when I saw it together, I was like, why didn't I think of that? But I feel like you either you got it or you don't. You got it. Every time I've seen you, just from head to toe, even your freaking hair, everything's amazing.
Thanks to my dad. Shout out to my dad for the hair.
For the hair, yeah, because you're not balding at all.
Neither is he.
How old is your dad?
He's 72. He'll be 73 in September.
So, and that's another thing that we had in common. Your dad worked for Budco for 30 years, right?
About 20.
And now which is Silver Eagle.
Yeah.
And they're a very big client of mine.
Absolutely.
And so it's weird though, is I knew you for years before you even told me that. And then you were like, yeah, my dad. And I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, he was there for a minute.
That's I would say, quite a few minutes. Did he retire with the cell when they sold to Silver Eagle, or was it after?
No, it was right before. Wait, no, after. I'm sorry.
It was right after.
It was right after.
Because a lot of times when distributors sell, it changes a lot, especially for the people that have been there 8, 10, 12 years, whatever. It's because the transition, it's the people are not going to run it the same.
Yeah, I know when he stepped away finally, I think it changed even more so. So I don't know how much he keeps in contact with people anymore from the company.
Well, I would imagine, just from what I know, a lot that were there in those days aren't really there anymore.
Yeah.
Because even like my buddy Leo, you met Leo
at our last event. Leo.
So he was with Silver Eagle for almost 10 years and he left.
Okay.
Because they sold again.
Yes. So I think my dad was, even prior to that. He was out before they did that as well, or something.
It was right around, yeah,
right around
because that
transition period.
transitions, it's rough.
Yeah.
And a lot of people they can't, well, again, somebody like your dad that's been there 20 years and they've followed a certain set of protocol and rules for 20 years, and the new person comes in and changes everything you've done for 20 years, yeah, I'm out.
Yeah.
If I'm going to have to learn something all new, I might as well retire or go somewhere else.
Totally. Especially for men like my dad's age or anybody that worked for the company. It's tough. Like they're used to a certain way. And,
yes. What did he do there?
He did a multitude of things.
Yeah, because usually you start in one department.
I mean, he started from the bottom because he transitioned from the flower business into that.
Oh, wow.
And that was just out of kind of necessity when he did that. And yeah, I remember he drove trucks for a bit. He
usually you start like in the warehouse or as a driver.
Yeah,
usually
I don't think he started as a driver. I don't think he ever started in the warehouse. I remember he did merchandising for a little bit.
Yeah.
And his final role, I think he was like draft professional, whatever the title is.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
like, because
he was in sales for a bit too.
People don't understand. People don't understand really like my business or my job in general. That's nothing, because it is a very complex thing to understand what I do, right? Sure. But people also really don't understand distributors and actually how many people work at one to run it, especially the size of it. But Silver Eagle's huge in San Antonio. So they're the AB house, Constellation house. So they carry the Bud Light, the Modelo, and they've just keep acquiring brands, right?
Yeah.
And no one really understands like how much work it takes to get it on your shelf at HEB. Like how many hands and how many people had to get it there. Like it's a lot.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, he was probably he when you say he was in draft, but he probably was only doing draft for like half of the city because the city's so big, right? So he probably had his territory.
He had his little territory.
It's wild.
I do remember, like, to close the loop on that. I do remember once he got into draft, I think for him, he had come out of sales, so he was like, I don't want that. Because, my dad was already getting up in age.
Older.
So once he found the draft portion of the business, he really liked it because my dad's such a people person. So, man, he was like thriving in that environment.
Because you had to go on premise and talk to people all day.
All day. So he had a lot of friends. The funny thing is, I was working predominantly downtown or, within the city, within 410. Whatever. So I would hear from people like, hey man, is your dad, I'm like, yeah, it's him. Oh my God, he's amazing. So
I'd love that.
After a while, like I would hear from a lot of people about, oh my God, your dad, he's amazing. And I'm like, what about me? But besides the point,
am I cool?
Besides the point, they used to know him more so. And I was like, well, good, man. Take care of him. Like he's out there working hard.
Well, and now everybody knows you in San Antonio.
Yeah.
Yes.
They used to.
No, people know you. But I wanted to have you on today because what I think you do is incredible. So what do you call yourself a DJ? Or what is like sometimes. What do you what do you say?
Oh, usually just a DJ, just to kind of simplify things.
But you're so much more than just a DJ.
I'd like to think so.
Yeah, you are. I hire this guy.
Thank you.
Anyone listening, I hire the best of the best. I do. I don't play around with Sean, he has been working for the company. Like, I don't even know when I got him on.
When did you get here?
I'm like, wait, he just showed up. Where did you come from? But he's the best of what he does, photography. And then now, obviously, he's my producer and all of that. Yeah. But I even got you a gig for a girl and her now husband that live in Dallas. Because I refer you to everybody and you're like, no, I don't do weddings. And I'm like, these people are so cool though.
And that was the last wedding I did.
Really?
And it was still one of the best weddings I've ever done.
Really?
Yeah.
And I had to kind of convince you because you're like, I don't do weddings.
Yeah. I usually do weddings for direct referrals, which was why. But also they were great people.
They're cool. Yeah.
I still keep somewhat in touch a little bit online, just they had a new
They
baby.
had a baby. Yeah, she got pregnant
it
probably
was,
the night that you were spinning those records.
it was the jams.
It was Marvin Gaye or something.
It was the jams, yeah. No, it was such a fun wedding. It's times like that when I do a wedding of that nature where I'm like, okay, maybe I can do another one.
Well,
but
that wedding looked badass.
It was beautiful. I mean, it was at the Botanical Garden,
Yeah.
Just
Because I
good setup.
helped her with all. So her name is Abby, and she actually worked for Yingling, and and she left Yingling, and now she's with Andrews Distributing, which is in Dallas. So Andrews distributes Yingling, right?
Yeah.
So like she still is. I don't know her title there now, but the guy that she married's from here.
Yes.
And that's why they got married here. And
Yes.
she reached out to me and was like, hey, like because she's from like Kentucky or somewhere.
Yeah.
And she's like, hey, like, I don't know anything about San Antonio. Where should I have this? Who should I get for hair and makeup? And as soon as she was like, for music, I was like, oh my God. I was like, I have this guy. And I was like, I don't know if he does weddings. I was like, but it's worth a try. And you were kind of,
got you.
Yeah, you were kind of like, oh,
Yeah,
and I was like,
tough.
I was like, they're really cool. They're really cool. And I'm so glad you did it.
Yeah, no. And that's usually how any of the weddings I do come about. They're direct referrals. And they're like, Steven, we know what you do and they want that. So it's like,
Yes.
okay, let's do that.
Okay,
and
so-
it was totally that.
So I want to know, you got your fashion sense from your siblings.
Yeah.
And where did this come from? Your love of music and turning it into a career.
Yes. So that started very, very early, like 3 years old.
Oh, wow.
We're going way back. How much time you have here? I'm just kidding. We're going way back. No, so my dad in high school was a musician, trumpet, drums. I had a pretty musical family on both sides. So just growing up in that environment, my mom was a big music person. Like she knew all the tunes, she collected the tunes, all that sort of thing. So very musical family. Yeah, and I started on the drums at 3 years old. My dad sat me down and just let me go. Never taught me anything, never said this is. He just sat me down and put the radio on and boom.
And you just went with it.
It was over. Game over from that point
Wow.
on. So, yeah, just my entire childhood was just based around playing the drums, being a drummer, performing, in front of whomever. Obviously went through school, through middle school, was in band and in football. That was the thing about growing up with older siblings is like my older brother, who's the middle child. He's 6 years older than I am, but he was like your quintessential like quarterback of the football team, had all the chicks, So I'm like, but our sizes are much different. He's always been much bigger than I am, and I've always been tiny. Not so much tiny anymore, but I used to be very tiny. So I always had that like, man, well, I want to be like my brother, but I also want to like rock and roll, So like going through school was always the hardest part because I wanted to do both. I wanted to play drums and I wanted to like be like the dude on campus.
And it's hard to do both just in general with practices and everything, like conflicting schedules.
Totally.
Yeah.
So once I got to high school was when I kind of had to make the hard decision. And, when people ask, do you have any regrets in your life? I have one, and I'll just say one. I probably have more, but the one that I can say right now is that I did not stick with band.
Really?
Yep.
Because you wanted to be like your brother.
I wanted to be like my brother. I thought that I could, and I did. I mean, I was quarterback of the football team, blah, blah, blah. Who cares? But it was like, it was a dead end after that. And that's the unfortunate thing that most, guys don't see in that young age.
Well, no, because you're so hyper fixated and focused on just what's right in front of you and playing game. But nobody ever really thinks truthfully like, oh, well, what happens when like high school ends?
Totally. So I will say that my band director, and this was my sophomore year. So the cool thing was my freshman year of high school band, I went to Edison High School. I'm an inner city boy. My freshman year of high school was like the best year that the Edison band had ever had, like in their history. We won all these awards. We were like one of the featured bands at the Flambeau thing, big band festival. Yeah. Like that had never happened to my knowledge from what I remember. So like we kicked butt that entire year. So when you're a freshman, 14 years old, I was always a young kid. So my birthday's in June. So I was
so
a young, I was young,
for your
you know,
class. Yeah.
Yeah. So 14 years old, accomplishing all that, being like in the drum line as a freshman, I was like, I did everything already. Like, what else is there to do?
Oh, wow.
So that was the other kind of thing that turned me away. And I was playing football already. I was quarterback, blah, blah, blah. And so, yeah, I had to make a decision sophomore year. And when I told my band director that I was choosing, he was so mad because he was my band director in middle school also.
Oh.
And he had told me, just hold on. I got you new drums. You're going to be over here. You're going to be doing this. And yeah, I broke his heart, but he also like gave me such motivation because he told me, you're going to get hurt. You're too small. You can't do it. Like he literally like gave me a piece of his mind when I left that office. And I remember, I think I cried when I left because I was like,
I probably would have too.
Like
though.
he tore me a new one. He was just like, you're going to get hurt. You can't do it. You can't do it. So it was like,
yeah. Do you think you're going to go pro? That's
I was
probably
like,
what he was thinking.
you know,
yeah.
exactly. And I wish I had understood that, but I was like, all right. And from that point on, I never looked back. I still kept playing drums because that was like my first love. I did that no matter what, you know? So, yeah, you know, went through the rest of high school, blah, you know, whatever. But after high school was when I really started to just throw myself into music more so. I was playing in a few kind of bands and stuff like that. And
I never knew that.
yeah, I mean, not a lot of people know that. And also, too, there was a short little chunk between like age 11 to maybe 13 that I was playing the accordion also, you know, like Tex-Mex music. I had learned from one of the masters of the instrument here in San Antonio. And so that was like a little stint of, I like played at the Tejano Conjunto Festival.
Wow.
Like crazy
I never
stuff.
knew that.
Like just crazy stuff that when I look back on it, I'm very proud of it. But at the time I was just like, this is what I'm doing now. Like it was just a weird little period for me. Like I just loved music, you know, from the time I was in middle school. So yeah, like progressing on, like it's never left, you know, it's just music
It's
is
obviously been with you forever.
yeah, it's just, you know, it's what I do, right? It's like music is just what I've always done, what I've always been good at.
Well, and like what a blessing. Your dad probably had no idea when he sat you in front of those drums at 3, but what a blessing to like fall in love with something young and still love it now.
Yeah, totally.
And to again to make a career out of it. Most people, I mean, do you think when I was a kid I dreamed of being the president of an alcohol publishing company? No.
But that's amazing.
No, right? But that's like not, you know, you actually are doing something that you love and you're passionate about and that you've done your whole life.
Yeah, I mean, and it's always been like, I love doing whatever this is. I just don't know what's next. Like I never knew, oh, I'm going to do this and do that. It was just like, I'm doing what I love and it's just kind of led me down this path.
Well, and I feel like when you do what you love, doors open without you even knocking on them.
For sure. And I think going back, oh my God, I just lost my train of thought. Yeah, my regret, you know, of not pursuing music as for an education still lingers with me sometimes because I'm like, but then I know a lot of friends who went that route and they're pretty much doing the same thing I am. They're gigging. Yeah, they may have like an education job, you know, they're
right
teaching or doing some kind of instructor stuff. And I'm like, yeah, that wasn't going to be for me, you know?
No.
Like I still can't instruct. A lot of people have been like, Steven, do you do DJ lessons? Do you do drum lessons? And I'm like, I don't, man.
But it's just not in your wheelhouse.
It's not
and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, and it's not. And I haven't felt bad about it a lot of the times because I'm like, and it's not that I expect people to follow how I did it. Not everyone has natural talent. And even if you don't have natural talent, sometimes you can't teach it.
No.
Whatever the it
is. Well, that's why I feel like I'm the worst athlete in the world. And I would always joke and say I'm bad enough that no one could teach me tennis or golf. And I feel like those two things, you don't have to be talented. You have to be disciplined, and you just have to do it over and over and over and over. I am one of those people, even with the best pros out there, I would still not be able to play tennis or do golf. I just, some people can't teach. Some people don't want to. I could never, I don't have a lot of patience. And so I would not be able, I get frustrated even trying to just teach my daughter things sometimes because I'm just like, why don't you get it yet?
Let's take a break.
Yeah. Like, why don't you understand it yet? I've already told you it 7 times, but there's nothing wrong with it. But also, God, what a gift it would be if you did, because you're so talented.
Yeah. But I haven't taught directly, but I have passed it on to at least, I've got 4 nephews, sorry. I've got 4 nephews and 2 of them picked it up early. One of them actually stuck with it, and he's like pretty much a splitting image. Not a splitting image of me. He looks a lot like me.
Really?
When I did have long hair. He has long hair right now. He's huge, but he's followed the path. And I'm like, whew, like I sigh deeply when I see him because I'm like, bro, like you're going down a very tough road. Like it's a tough road. So, but he's in it. He's in it. Like he's doing it. He does a lot of things that I wasn't doing, and I'm just like, okay.
I mean, commitment, right?
It's commitment.
If you commit to something and you just stay committed to it.
Totally.
Right?
And, big shout out to my parents for like just letting me go. Like they said it and they forgot it. They just let me go.
I love that.
So it was just, and I had their support through it all, even my siblings. So seeing my nephew now, he's got that. So that's really important. And that's, sometimes parents, I'm not a parent, but I would assume that like sometimes it's hard to let your kid go and do something,
Yes, because, and I used to think that my parents were controlling because they told me you should do this when you grow up, you should do this in college, you should get this major, you should go here, things like that. And I always looked at it as they were just trying to control me and make the decisions for me. And now I'm like, no, they were just trying to set me up for realistic success. But also in their day, there was no social media, there was no internet, right? There were no cell phones. So, it is a little bit different now when it comes to things like that. But also, I'm kind of old school, like when it comes to raising my daughter and what I think she should do. And it's not what I think she should do, but it's not realistic to think you're going to be like a YouTuber or something, like don't give up on your dreams, kids, like that, right? Like it's not really realistic for something like that.
Yeah.
But it's also scary because we're in a day and age of that's all kids want to do.
That's what they see.
So recently went to a kindergarten graduation, and I shit you not. Out of all the kids, it was like 17. What do you want to be when you grow up? Like 14 or 15 of them said YouTubers.
Oh man.
And I was like, we're fucking doomed.
Yeah.
one was a doctor, one was a firefighter, and I cannot remember what that, but I was like, we're doomed.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if somebody were to have asked you when you were younger, oh, well, do you think you would have seen yourself DJing or whatever you refer, you would be like, no,
that was always the hardest question for me in school. Like I was that kid that would either get asked or that sheet of paper, what do you want to, I could never put anything down because I didn't know then. And I, to some extent, still don't know now, I've just followed the path that has not been laid in front of me, but I'm my instincts, whatever my gut tells me. And, good or bad, like I've always done things at my own pace, and it's being the youngest sibling has also added to me, just really not trying to follow, maybe the good and the bad of what my brother and sister did.
Right. Their examples.
Their examples.
That good or bad.
So
I've
always done things on my, and granted, when I was already in high school, they were pretty much out of the house already. So there was a period of time where I felt very much like an only child. So I was always in my own world, even, in my younger days, because they were out, they were just your typical 80s and 90s kids who had a very active social life. And I was just at home in my music, like, I'm a huge Rush fan. My biggest musical inspiration is the band Rush. And so in middle school, like I was just like this little nerd in my room all day long, like
listening to Rush.
I
love that. I love Rush though.
And granted, this is the 90s, so they had been a band for well over 20 years by then.
Yeah.
But, I'm like, that's what I was into, like my brother put that cassette in my hand. He was like, you need to listen to this. And I was like, oh my God. And it was,
rewind.
Yeah, it was game over after that. So, just again, following this path has just always been very through my instincts, and just loving music and just progressing at whatever I feel, whatever feels right.
And did you just like approach a restaurant or a person and say, hey, can I do your quince? Or like, how did you start getting into this scene?
So the DJ thing, could have never have thought that that's what I would have pursued or what I'd be doing right now, because after high school, probably actually 19, I started working, I was doing like manual labor. Like I was working in a warehouse, I was actually working for Office Depot, the delivery division. So my older brother, and a bunch of like friends from older guys. I've always hung out with older people. I don't know what that says about me. I always hung out with older people. So like I was working in a warehouse full of men, like doing manual labor and just like finding my way, right? And fast forward like 5 or 6 years in that industry, and still dabbling in music along the way. I have a really good friend who was kind of a DJ at the time, and after the bars or the clubs, we would go back to their house, and he had a setup there. And I would just go and just play records. Like it wasn't like DJ, I would like play a record. And he would just tell me the thing that I love about him, and going back to not being an instructor, he wasn't like, here, this is what you do, this is how you do it. He was just like, showed me the ropes and then stepped back.
And let you
so again,
have at it.
Another pivotal person and monumental kind of like, he didn't control, he was just like, this is how you do it. Okay, cool. And after that, like we would go back to the house on a weekly basis. So I was just constantly on his turntables.
Wow.
And that's how it started, literally, like just me playing music for my friends. And once my career ended in the office delivery business, I just pursued music full time. And that I was like 22 at that point, like 22, 23 at that point, and just literally never looked back. So to answer your question, I just started doing house parties, because at that time, I was also very late to the club music thing. Like I was not a dance music kind of dude.
No, I wouldn't know how to describe what you play, but I also have never, anytime I've hired you, I'm like, play what you want. I don't think I've ever told you to play
only the great clients tell me that. So thank you.
That's like, why would you go and hire somebody and then tell them how to do their job? That's a whole freaking reason that you got hired. Like, stop being a freak and a control freak, and I want this and this and that. Don't do all that.
Yeah,
you're a professional. I hired you for a reason, and I do the same with Sean.
Yep.
Anybody else, any vendors that I deal with, I'm pretty cut and dry. I'm like, I hired you because you're an expertise in this area, and have at it. And if I didn't like what you did, then I'm going to tell you, hey, next time maybe try something else. But I'm not going to. That's just too much micromanage. And I am like the most I do not micromanage. Mm-hmm. I don't no.
Yeah, it's tough, and I get it. I mean, it's a business. I provide a service most of the time, and it's like, I accommodate the best I can, but the good ones are always like, Steven, just do your thing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh,
that's literally what I do every time. Like, I'm like, plug it in, let's go.
And that's, it's a hard thing for most other DJs. I can't speak for them, but I have seen, and it's like, you got to know who your clientele is. You got to know what you're doing. Like it's a tough ball game. It's a game of selection sometimes.
And you have now grown your business I mean, I just saw you were in Cabo for like a week.
Yeah.
Like what? Like, how do you even find shit like that? Like, do they contact you?
Yeah. So this company in particular, I mean, again, to kind of connect the dots, like I never, even when I set out, when I was really doing house parties and progressing along, I never looked down the line and said, I want to be
Thought it
doing
was
that.
going to be this, to where you travel out of state, out of country.
Yeah. The only like small nugget of a idea of what I wanted to do is I knew I wanted to do like art shows, but like gallery stuff, like not like nothing against Blue Star. I love Blue Star, but like I didn't want to be inside a little gallery doing like stuff. I wanted to go and play at like really cool events. You know, that was kind of the only thing I was like, I want to do cool events and I want to play different music. You know,
you do cool events. Every time I see any like post of yours, I'm like, go Steven, because that's badass. Like, not only are you not necessarily this is your dream, but you kind of are living your dream, which is music, right? That's the root of it all. And you're getting to travel to all these wonderful places, and you're getting paid to do that. And like, you get to go to all these badass restaurants and do just all these things. Like, I love seeing your posts. It's
been a blessing. Like, it really has. So this one particular company that I do that work for, they found me like 12 years ago when I was still the resident DJ at Hotel Havana. RIP to Havana Bar.
I know you, because you were there
for 12 years. I mean, that's a big chunk of my life and career.
And did they close?
The bar, yeah, they just recently closed. I don't know a lot of details, but
okay, because this is random. I just stayed at that hotel. I actually, I had court the following morning, and it was during Fiesta. And I was like, you know what? I was like, I am not going to try to fool with traffic trying to get to court. So I was like, oh, let me stay at a hotel. And I had never stayed at Havana.
Yeah.
And, you know, I had only been to that bar with you.
Yep.
Because we left the
Taupe. Was it Taupe?
No, it was at the library.
It was at the library. That's right.
And we left the library, and you were like, oh, let's go. Because at the time
you
were,
spot.
Yes, it was your spot. And I remember walking in there, and I was like, man, this place is badass. All the red lights. And that was the first time I had ever been there.
That's when things were very good at Havana.
Yeah. You know, it was badass.
Yeah.
I mean, this is pre-COVID. This was,
yeah.
You know, this was years ago. But like I said, I recently stayed there, and how cute is that hotel?
I mean, it still is a wonderful hotel. It still is my favorite.
But I asked, I was like, you know, is the bar open? Because I hate staying in hotel rooms without ice. Like, I have to have ice all the time. If you've noticed, I have an ice machine. Obviously, you've seen my fridge. Like, I like things cold. And so I was like, oh, can I just go to the bar and get ice? And they were like, oh, the bar's closed. But I didn't realize it was closed.
Yeah.
I thought she just meant it was closed like for Fiesta or something.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
But it's obviously not. So it's closed.
I mean, I had heard some things, you know, I stopped working with them. I think it was it was definitely last year. You know, we stopped programming altogether, and I was like, cool, you know, and you know, I kind of reached out here and there to kind of keep me in the loop, but really I could tell things were already transitioning, and I had heard things from corporate and stuff like that. So I just kind of stayed away. I was thank goodness I was like really busy at that time, so it didn't faze me. But there was like a little hole in my heart.
Well, yeah, because that's a long time to work somewhere.
Yeah, for sure. And
bringing happiness and joy to people in that place for that long.
I mean, it was a place that I felt for the first time, even though I had had a residency prior to Hotel Havana. Havana was kind of like my real thing, you know, like I cultivated that, you know, and I had some good times there. I had some bad times there. I had some good staff. I had some bad staff. I think we went through like 4 GMs while I was there.
Oh, and that's a lot.
I was there longer than some of the furniture. So I felt like I was a part of like, this is my spot.
Because you were.
Yeah, for sure. And I did a lot of things for them, like private events, booking, music, obviously my DJ night, and just generally steering people towards her, because it's not an easy place to get to if you're downtown.
No, it's not.
It's off the beaten path. And it's the thing that I used to talk, anytime corporate would hit me up for any kind of just, hey, what's going on kind of chat, I would tell them, look, y'all, like San Antonio is a very different city.
It's very different. You cannot compare.
You
cannot compare the city. I've lived a bunch of places in Texas, and you just cannot compare San Antonio to other places.
Like their formula, like you can't transfer that formula to Hotel Havana. It's a very unique place. It's in a very unique spot. So
this isn't Dallas. This isn't Austin. This isn't Houston. It's
and it was tough because like if they're not seeing the action on paper, doesn't mean it's not happening. It's just like, look, y'all, it's a tough place for people to get to, and I'm doing my part.
I mean, it is, because even that night that I stayed there, this was at the end of April, and even that night, the phone's like turn right, and I'm like, oh, because I had gone there in an Uber with y'all that night.
Yeah.
But I wanted to have my car down there for the next day, obviously, so I could drive home. And it's not easy to get to. It is kind of, I mean, there's the parking, but it's still, it's not a huge parking lot.
No, not a huge parking lot. And for years, I had heard plans that they were going to do like a full renovation. And I don't know if that's what it's going to be now. Like, I don't know. I've heard conflicting things, but I'm pretty far removed from it. Unfortunately, that I'm just like, I've already moved on. I mean, I moved on pretty quickly. As much as it hurt, I moved on. I was like, I got to keep.
The show must go on.
The show must go on. Yeah. As much as I want to keep doing, my thing. Because most people were like, hey, man, are you still in Havana? And I'm like, I'm not, man. They're like, oh.
Yeah, I kind of figured something was up because I would always see like Thursday. Thursday. And then I hadn't seen anything. And then, but now I just see you in like random states working.
Yeah. And it's been, especially after COVID, it's been a general theme. I've been turning the page on a lot of different things, gigs, people, just different things, So it's a part of the journey that I'm really embracing now in my ripe age.
Stop.
Just kidding.
No.
It's, you know what, dude, you did 12 years and you should be very proud of that. There are a lot of people who like remember it and just turn the page, keep moving. So to go back to our original thing, the company that I do the work for that takes me everywhere, they found me at Hotel Havana, and it was that one night that there was almost nobody there. And I just remember this one lady sitting in the corner, and I just happened to go by her to go get a drink, and she was like, hey, do you have a card? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. I gave her a card, and that was it, and then that next year I got an email from the event company representing her. She was the actual client, but she had an event company who handles all her stuff contact me, and they were doing their big conference here at the JW. Which was like the first time, I think it was the first time I had ever been to the JW.
It's huge.
It's huge. And it was still new then. So this was, this was like 12 years ago. So yeah. And the whole time that I was at the event, and I'm playing to like 2,000 people in their big kind of like courtyard.
I mean, yeah.
The backyard. I don't know what it's called, but to that point, that had probably been my biggest gig, people-wise. I
mean, yeah, that's a lot of people.
Like before that, I had done a lot of really cool stuff and played in cool venues all over the U.S. But as a private gig, that was like a big deal for me. So I was like, whoa. And it opened the door to other possibilities. Like, whoa, this is something that is cool, Yeah,
this is something that could really take off into.
So 12 years ago was a pivotal point in my career when I first did that private event. And the whole time people were like, Heather told us the story how she found you, and she loves you, and you're great. So that was like the first time I'd ever gotten praise too. So there was a lot of good things happening, and I was like, wow, this is cool. Like I can dig this. So yeah, every year after, I've been with them somewhere. So they have 2 programs a year, one in November and one in May. So I'm usually there with them. And actually, I never know where we're going until I get the email. So when I see that email come in, I'm like, oh, man.
You're like, where am I going?
Yeah, literally.
But that's so exciting.
Like one time, like I had to like pull the car over. As soon as that email popped, I couldn't wait. I had to pull the car over.
Yeah, you're like, I have to see this now.
And I was like, oh, my God. Why? Okay, cool. Like it's just things like that.
And I'm assuming they pay flights, hotel, food, and then pay you on top of that?
Yeah, it's usually all inclusive of what
I mean, that's
what I do,
freaking awesome though.
I hope they don't watch this. I'm just kidding. I'm giving away all the secrets. Just kidding.
No, but I mean,
it's just part of the job. I mean, it's a part of any job. Like if you get hired somewhere, usually the client takes care of a certain
when I
part of.
hired Sean to come work, so we have our summit every January.
Yeah, he has to pay his whole way.
Yeah. Oh no. Well, I do. Right. Imagine he's like, I'm driving. I'm like, no, you're not. No, I take care of his flights, his hotel room, his food, and I pay him on top of it because I mean that's
standard stuff.
That's standard
from a great client. Yeah.
But I always like joke with Sean. I'm like, you couldn't work for anybody more chill. And I'm not, even though I'm neurotic and OCD and nuts, I am so chill. Like the first summit, I was like, all right, this is what you have to do. I have never given him notes since.
Yeah.
He goes every year. He did learn the first summit though to not get drunk on the first night because we got about a 15-hour day the next day.
Yeah. That's important.
And Sean was so hungover, and I was like, rookie.
Yep.
Rookie.
He got it out of his system.
Everybody. Rookie.
Oh yeah, it was like rookie. It was a rookie mistake.
Yeah.
But he learned that one time, and
yeah.
here we are. How many summits have you done now? 4?
I think 5.
5.
Okay.
Gosh, see? And he does it every January. But I mean, it's like clockwork. I'm like, okay, here's your flight.
Yeah.
Here's your room. Your food. And him and his wife had dinner this January, and he's like, hey. He calls me. I'm in my room, and I'm like, what? Because he doesn't ever bother. Like, he knows not to bother me because we literally work 15, 16-hour days at these summits, right? On our feet, running around, and I'm the one making sure everything's running. And so I don't fuck with Sean. I'm like, you know what to do.
You got your thing.
Well, he's like, we're gonna go have dinner, and I'm like, yeah, just put it on your room because he's a part of the staff, and we all go eat, and we put it on our rooms, and it goes to the master bill. And he calls me, and he's like, hey, and I'm like, what? And he's like, me and G, that's his way. He's like, me and G just had dinner. He's like, dude, it's $500. And I was like, why? And he was like, man, they were selling us this fucking stone crab, but they didn't give us the pricing. He's like, dude, I only had like fucking 2 of them. It was $500. What'd I do? And I was like, just charge it on your room. He's like, nah, dude, I feel bad. Like, I feel like I need to pay for it. And I was like, just charge it on your room and have a sandwich tomorrow.
There you go. That's a good trade-off.
But I respected that he called and was like, hey, should I pay for this? Right? He doesn't take advantage. None of our staff does. None of our staff takes advantage of, because they all know they can order room service and do all that, but nobody takes advantage of it. But
sign of a good team. That's a good team.
We have a great team. Well, you know all of them, but I feel like you and Sean have, even though it's different areas of what you do, y'all have like badass jobs. You get to go have fun with a lot of cool people, travel different places, and get paid for it.
Yeah,
I mean that's like a dream. That's a dream.
It's a dream. It's been a blessing. I mean, I've done other work like this, not at these exotic locations, but I do have a few other clientele who have me out. But yeah, it's once I started doing this kind of work, it's kind of all the work that I want to be doing. Like not because of all the perks, but just the quality of the work too. Like I'm someone who wants to be doing like really quality stuff where I have clients like yourself who are like, Steven, do your thing. Like this is what what you're here for. Like we want you to, here's a blank canvas and do your thing. So that more so than the perks and the locations, those are great. But like just allowing me to do my thing. And
are you now at a point in your career that you can turn things down that you don't want to do?
Ooh, yeah. I am the king of turning things down.
Really?
Still.
Really?
Still. Even after COVID, like I had to kind of like
reevaluate
some stuff. But that is another common thread that has been with me my entire life. If I don't like it or if I'm not comfortable with it, I'm not going to do it.
Wow.
So,
hey, listeners, watchers, take that advice and stick it to everything in your life.
And I've had my bumps and bruises with it because some people don't like to hear no.
No, nobody likes to hear no.
And sometimes, it's like, well, why not? It's like,
Yeah.
you're
like, no means
I'm
no.
good,
But a lot
know?
of people have a hard, I love that. I'm the king of no. A lot of people have a hard time saying no.
Yeah.
And it's only out of like some weird guilt that they're going to have, which it's like, no, you finally have to get to a point that you have to protect yourself and your peace and your mind and your body. Saying no is not a bad thing, but I didn't realize you were steadfast in that. You're like, no.
Yeah, and again, everything that you just said is everything I believe. Like, especially after COVID, like I still turn down things, and it's not because like I don't like the people involved or whatever. It's just like it just doesn't line up with.
It doesn't jive with what you are.
Jive with what
Yeah.
I'm doing right now,
Yeah.
man. And like or maybe we can think about something else down the line. Or I always try to keep the door open.
Keep it open-ended.
But like with weddings, I had a handful of coordinators who would keep me in the loop, who work at great venues, and I'm just like, man, I'm sorry, I can't, because and I don't want to talk about weddings too long because whatever, but most of the brides think that you're available to them for as long as you're on the hook.
Listen, I have never been married. I have been a bridesmaid many times, and whatever takes over these women, these fucking weddings.
And bless their hearts, I'm there to do what they need.
It's like everyone around them has to like bow down. And it's wait, what the fuck? No, I had to drive out here and like, I had to spend all this money on a bachelorette party and your gift and all. No. And come and have to pay at your open bar. No. Or your cash bar. No, I'm not here to bow down to you. So I could see that. I could see that brides would be bossy with you.
Yeah. And
not bossy.
There's way more communication involved than I would like. I'm a very
you're like hire me and don't talk to me.
Yeah,
let me just do my thing.
As time went on and the more weddings that I did do along my career, I finally had like a system to it. I'd be like, look, in all honesty, I really only need to hear from you about a month or two before, and just submit what you want to hear and let me know what you don't want to hear, and from that I can construct like the perfect playlist for you.
Well, I wouldn't even see why anybody else would need to talk to you except for saying what you want and what you don't want to hear.
But you'd be surprised. I've had some where like literally book me a year in advance, and I would hear from them periodically throughout the year, just about stuff that I'm like, yo, I've got other gigs right now.
This is not important.
Like, I'll email me, please. Like that's my preferred way of, also because I'm such an introvert, I don't want to talk to people, but that's another story. But yeah, like most of the time it became such a chore to do weddings, and they just became very difficult. And now, like, I always tell wedding coordinators, look, I provide great music and you'll have an excellent time. Like the soundtrack will be on point, but I'm not going to be like your MC dude. I can do it, but I'm just not that guy. And I'm not going to have like big light show. I don't have any of that. So you're going to have to provide, I do the music.
No, that's
and it's tough. It's tough. It's a hard sell for people. They want the whole package. And I'm like, I'm not that guy.
No, you're classy. I mean, you are. When I think of like, I would never call you for some shit like that.
Look, and to date, I have never had a bad wedding. Like anybody that I've rocked their wedding, I know that they had a good time, and I know that I had a good time. So that makes me feel good.
The chick that I referred to you, like, they're classy.
Totally. And they had a beautiful wedding.
And like when she told me where they were having it and like all of it, but she's just very classy. She's always been very well dressed, like every time I've met her. And I was like, this is the Steven vibe. Like, I would never send you a bridezilla, which I mean, I guess they probably all are at some point, but I would never send you somebody like a pain in the ass. I would never do that.
It's tough, and so yeah, I just started saying no, and these are clients that I've known for years, and I would just have to tell them, look, I can't anymore. Like it's
weighing on me.
Yeah,
if
it's a corporate event or a private event or something a little bit more chilled, then yeah, let's talk. But if it's a wedding, Probably not. Like I'm done.
Yeah, I trust me. I don't even like going to weddings, if we're being honest.
Yeah,
I really don't.
I haven't been to a wedding in a while. So
Neither have I. All my friends
I'm
are
due
now
for one.
getting divorced.
Yeah, actually, my last wedding I went to, I think. Well, yeah, it was my one of my best friends in last January.
Bert, was it Bert?
No, it was my other friend Oliver.
Has Bert gotten married yet?
To my knowledge, no.
Okay, yeah, but they're engaged, right?
Yeah.
Okay, because I haven't seen him.
Yeah, he moved.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I don't know.
Yeah, he moved.
Okay, never mind. I don't keep. I'm terrible about trying to keep up with.
Yeah, no, they're doing great. They're living their life. They're out there living their life.
Yeah, well, living like we all should be.
Yeah.
Well, so. I want to thank you so much for coming on today.
Yeah.
I've always been fascinated by you from the minute I met you. I cannot say enough nice things about you. I mean, every time I see you, you probably just think like I'm nuts, but I really don't compliment people that much. So the fact that I go on and on about you, it's the truth. Like you're just a gem. Like I love being around you. I love your energy. Every time I'm around you, like I feel better. And like isn't that like what life's about, right? Like
Absolutely.
you should feel better once you've been in someone's presence, not shittier. And you just emulate such like class and sophistication. And I think you're the best.
I appreciate that.
And I mean, when I can afford you, I will hire you to come to the summits.
We can always talk. It's not about affordability.
But yeah,
I mean, it is.
It is. But I am going to somehow put it in our budget. I'm going to make it work somehow. One day, I'm manifesting this because my dream team, I'm going to have Sean and Steven there, like my two guys. Like, oh my gosh,
and
dream
San
team.
Diego is one of my places, so I'm there pretty.
We'll be there in January.
So I'm usually there. So that company, to close the loop, one of their conferences is usually in San Diego. So San Diego grew near and dear to me over the past.
I love
years.
San Diego. It's great. So
totally
we'll be
great.
there in January,
Nice.
and
One of my best friends lives there too. So
maybe we can work something
we'll
out.
work something out.
Maybe so.
It's for another episode.
Yes, for sure. All right. Well, thanks
thank
for
you
coming
so much.
on. Yes.
Thanks for having me.
Cheers, boo.
Cheers,
Thanks.
boo.
Bye, guys. See y'all next time. Woo! That was so.